This is 9.1, Part 2. We're going to talk about symmetry and reflection with coordinate planes. So, if you look in the mirror, you see a reflection. The funny thing is, if you hold up a word in front of you in the mirror, you're going to see it written backwards in the reflection. So, it's the opposite way. So if you look at my coordinate plane right here, you're going to notice that it's pretty colorful. So if you look at the purple points here, you're going to see this purple one, point A, and this purple one, point B. So point A is at the coordinates 2, 4. So it's 2, 4. Point B is at the coordinates -2, 4. Now we have a special way of talking about these. B is a reflection of A, or A is a reflection of B. And we can describe it another way. We can say that they're symmetrical about the y-axis. Let's talk about what that means. Think about a roundabout. We have some of these in our town. When you have a roundabout, you travel in your car and you go into the roundabout, and then you go around and around and around until you're about done, and then you go out of the roundabout. Or you might start in a different place and come in this part and come round, 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 roundabout and go out that way. So you're going around the center. Now, I have a picture down here too of a tree. You can see that this rope is going around the base of the tree and going to the other side. So this is what happens with our axis. Our point goes around the axis to the other side, and it's right across the axis the other way. So here A is at 2, and over here B is at -2. We say that they're around the y-axis because they're both the same. They're both at the 4 on the y-axis, so they're around the y-axis. Let's take a look at the light green. So the light green, we'll say this is point C, and we'll say this is point D. So these are at 4, 2, and at -4, 2. Oh, wait a second. They both have the same coordinate from that y-axis. So they both are on 2. So they are symmetrical about the y-axis. Now, it's not just that they're both on the 2, but they're the same distance from there. One is 4 on the right, one is 4 to the left. And if we think about our absolute values, we can know that they're each the same amount or the same distance from the 0. So they are symmetrical about the y-axis. Let's take a look at our 2 other points right here. We have point E, which is our little orange dot, and point F, which is our other orange dot. And point E, you have to go on the x-axis first all the way over to the 6, and then E goes up on the y-axis to 3. So 6, 3, and F, you go all the way over to the 6, and then you go down to the -3. Look at that. They are across from each other on the x-axis. So they're symmetrical about the x-axis. The E is 3 up from the x-axis. The F is 3 down from the x-axis. But they're both on the 6 of the x-axis. another way to say this is that it's a reflection across the x-axis. So, do you think you can think of a figure that could be symmetrical across the x and the y-axis? What figure could you make? Well, that means they're going to have to be reflected. So let's say we're going to start with the coordinate of 2, 3. So we're starting with 2, 3. Let's make a reflection of that point across the y-axis. So we're going to cross the y-axis, and we're going to stay at that 3 for the y, and we're going to use -2. So -2, 3. And that's our reflection there. Well, let's take the second point and make a reflection across the x-axis. So we're going to follow the line across the x-axis. And up here I was at 3, so down here I'm going to be at -3. So my point is actually going to be -2, -3. Now let's find a reflection for this point across the y-axis. So I'm crossing the y-axis. Oh, well, I was 2 away from the y-axis at my last point, so I'm going to be 2 away right here. What are my coordinates there? Well, they're 2 and -3. And you can see what I made. I made a rectangle. You could also make a square in this way. You should get some graph paper and see if you can make a figure that has reflections across the x and the y axis as well.